Okay. Yeah. So we are discussing from the 48th verse. So so Yudhishthir Maharaj, because he is in the position of the king, he has to always take care of the old people. Because as we know, 5 people should always be protected. So it is a responsibility of the king to give protection. But at some point of time, a person should be, told that now you have to leave family. Because it is a duty. See, just like, whenever we ask some seniors, Roji, how much we should stretch ourselves, I have got the same answer. Take care of your health, don't overstretch yourself. बहुत सेवा करना है. But in their personal lives, they are stretching themselves so much. So that is a principle, when it comes to ourselves, we should be really, very ready to stretch ourselves. But when it comes to giving some, instruction, we should be a little lenient. So that as a king, Yudhishthira Maharaj is always lenient because he is an old person. But, sometimes in due course of giving such instructions, we forget to tell a person about the Shreyas also, So that is the role of Vidura. Vidura, that's why he came and he gave such strong instructions. So Yudhishthira is right at his level, but, sometimes a higher level of understanding has to be given. So that is what Vidurji did here. So we should always see this. Vidurji came and told Dhritarashtra that now you have to leave home. And here now Narad Muni is also telling the same thing to Vidura, that you took care of Yudhishthira, but now understand that he has to you took care of Dhritarashtra, now he has to go for his further journey. So don't be so much concerned about this, person's well-being, kya hoga uska. So that's why we need always a person who can guide us, tell us, abhi ye karna hai, abhi ye nahi karna hai. Because there are always, in devotee's life, there is always a dharma sankat. We many times get into problem choosing between 2 right things. Ye bhi karu ya ye karu, That is dharma sankat which comes in the life of devotees. Ethical conflict will not come. Moral conflict will not come, sorry. Moral means galat ya sahi mein kya choose karna hai. Wo to conflict, it is like a preliminary level of conflict. But after practicing bhakti for some time, we get into ethical conflicts, ethical dilemma. Kya karna hai? Ye bhi sahi hai, ye bhi sahi hai. So that time we need the help of some superiors who can guide us. So that's what Narad Muni is doing here. He is guiding Yudhishthira. Don't worry, don't lament. Just allow him to go with his journey. Let him perfect his life by doing tapasya. So that is what I can think of.
In our daily life now, what happens? Our elderly people are there with us. What we should do with them?
Take care of them.
Right, we are taking care of them, but like you told us, Yudhishthira also was lamenting for that they should.
We have to just try to connect them to Krishna, try to give them spiritual life, taking care of their family, their physical needs, at the same time giving them Krishna, whatever they can. Because, you cannot teach old dog a new trick. So बूढ़ापे में भक्ति करना बहुत मुश्किल है. Whatever favorable situations we can create to bring them close to Krishna, we should do. And even if they don't take to spiritual life, no problem. At least they will get some sukriti. Sukriti तो मिलेगा, प्रसाद खाएंगे, मंदिर जाएंगे, कुछ तो सुकृति मिलेगा. In the next life, they will become devotees, or whenever Krishna willing. So that's what we have to do. So Narad Muni is telling Yudhishthira Maharaj to see Krishna's plan for Dhritarashtra, Gandhari and Vidur. Don't lament. Krishna has a plan for everyone. So Krishna's plan is to make them focus in spiritual life. don't disturb the plan of Krishna now. So Prabhupada writes, Yudhishthir Maharaj, last few lines. Yudhishthir Maharaj is advised by Narada, therefore, not to be disturbed by the affairs of so-called happiness and distress, but to look only unto the Lord, to execute the mission for which the Lord has descended. That was his prime duty. What is the mission of the Lord? Okay. One more vision Lord has. Third question of Saunakadi Rishis. Why Lord appears in this world? To reclaim the fallen conditioned souls. So that's why Narad Muni is telling, just allow Krishna to bring this Dhritarashtra close to him. So therefore he is telling Dhritarashtra, just don't lament. So that's how we should counsel people, We should take them out of this material lamentation and bring them close to Krishna. Many times all the self-help books, what they are doing, they are trying to bring people out of material problem, but they are not connecting them to Krishna. So that is a temporary solution. जब तक वो पेन किलर का इफेक्ट रहता है तब तक शांत, and the effect goes and again pain starts. So both things we have to do. So Narad is taking Yudhishthira out of the material lamentation, and now in this 48th verse he connected him to Krishna. You should look to the Supreme Lord only. पहले बोल दिया काल कर्म गुणाधीनो देहोयम पंच भौतिकै. Okay, material life, don't worry. Connect to Krishna. Look up to Krishna, Supreme Lord only. And then understand the mission of the Lord. So I am Yadya Maharaja Bhagavan Bhuta Bhavanaha Kala Rupovatirnosyam Abhavaya Suradvisham.
That Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, in the guidance of all devouring time, Kala Rupa, has now descended to the earth to eliminate the envious from the world.
So Lord is in the guise of all devouring Kala. So he has come to execute his mission, to eliminate the envious. The two types of people, envious and obedient. Envious means asuras, and obedient means devatas. Okay, then. So now after hearing all this, Yudhishthira Maharaj was planning to do something to save his uncle. So Narad Muni says, forget that. That's what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. I will tell you what you are supposed to do now. Kya karna hai? I will tell you now. Don't disturb their way. Nishpaditam deva krityam avashesham pratikshate tavad yuyam avekshadvam bhaved yavad iheshwaraha.
The Lord has already performed his duties to help the demigods, and he is awaiting the rest. You Pandavas may wait as long as the Lord is here on earth.
So now he's saying what you should do. Don't think what Dhritarashtra is doing. Now you should know what you should do. Bakiyo ka mat socho. Now what you have to do, I'll tell you. What is the Lord's plan for you? Snishpaditam deva krityam. So Lord has already performed all his activities on behalf of devatas, and he is awaiting. Tavad yuyam avekshadvam. You should observe the Lord. Kya kar rahe hain wo? And wait till the time he is there. So follow the Lord's plan and stay on the earth till the time Krishna is there. So Prabhupada in the purport he describes how Lord descends to establish the principles of dharma, to destroy the asuras. Everyone is trying to become an imitation god. There is a keen competition among such imitation gods, and such competitors are known as asuras. When there are so many asuras, then it becomes a hell for those who are devotees. So therefore Lord comes to reestablish the principles of dharma. And then Prabhupada writes that Krishna, he vanquished asuras like Kamsa, Jarasandha, Shishupal, and now he was waiting the annihilation of his own dynasty named as Yadu Vamsha. So this is another beautiful, very elaborate discussion. Why Krishna annihilated his own dynasty? In the 11th canto it comes. We have discussed this earlier also. Why Krishna annihilated his own dynasty. There are around 13 reasons. Krishna, he describes, Shukdev Goswami describes in the 11th canto why Krishna annihilated his own dynasty. Should we discuss now?
Okay. So what is the meaning of he is awaiting the rest?
Some things are remaining. What is that remaining? He has to destroy his own dynasty.
That's it.
Yeah. He has already performed his duties. Sab ho gaya hai. Pritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam. But there is something is remaining. That is that is indicated here. That's what Prabhupada writes here. He is awaiting the annihilation of his own dynasty known as Yadu Vamsha. So there are many reasons why Krishna annihilated his own dynasty. First is, when Lord appeared in this world, he told all the devatas, you also go and assist. So all these devatas, they had to go back. So bhejna kaise hai? So he told all the associates, you go to Dwarka. So who all went to Prabhas? All the devata portions went to Prabhas, and all the eternal associates, they stayed in Dwarka. And therefore all these devata portions, they were killed and they went back to the abode, their heaven. Second, Krishna had a concern that when because Yadus, they were too much attached to Krishna. So if he departs before them, they will go mad and they will destroy the earth because they were very powerful. Their life was Krishna. Bhavayanastvam bhavavishyu bhavan tvam eva mata suritpatim pita tvam sadguruna paramam chadaivatam yasyanu kritino babhuvima. They are everything. Krishna was everything for them. So if Krishna departs, they'll go really mad. So therefore he thought better to send them first. And then third thing, Krishna felt that when Yadavas start behaving wildly, then they'll become burden on earth. What is that burden? Third canto, Prabhupada describes, it is not the burden of the beast, it is burden of love. It is wrong theory, then Prabhupada writes, although the 18 Akshahinis of army were destroyed, Krishna considered that Yadus are unbearable burden. Actually, it is the burden of love. Prabhupada writes, there are two kinds of burden. Burden of love and burden of the beast. The burden of the beast is unbearable. The burden of love is a source of pleasure. So then Chakravarti Thakur gives 3 examples of this burden of love. Lover carrying the female lover. Burden of the child on the lap of his mother. And the burden of the wealth on the businessman. अगर पूरा पेटी भर के गोल्ड बिस्किट्स लेके जा रहा है, बोला भारी हो गया, ले लें आपसे, नहीं चलेगा, I can handle this burden, So he was referring that burden of separation. I'll be separated from the devotees. If I'll go back earlier, I'll not meet them there. So let me send them first. So that is the burden. And then Krishna noticed that some of the Yadavas, they had become inimical to Krishna. And they forgot the supremacy of Krishna. So therefore, Krishna wanted to teach them a lesson. And because he was thinking that if Yadavas become inimical, other people will follow. And it will become a standard. So therefore, let me destroy this. And another reason he says is, if my dynasty remains, then the descendants, they will start claiming that Hum Krishna Yadu Vanshi, we are the only one who are entitled to get all the respect. And Prabhupada writes there, just like people now, they are calling themselves as Nityananda Vamsha. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu perceived the same. Therefore, he didn't have any children. Nityananda Prabhu had only two, and Advaita Acharya, he had 6 children. Out of them, 3 became Mayavadis and 3 became devotees. So therefore, Advaita Acharya, he gave his all devotional credit, all the devotional, dynasty, whatever he had, to his 3 sons. So Prabhupada talks about Nityananda Vamsha. So that was another reason. And then Krishna is teaching that how this world is temporary. Even the family of Krishna gets destroyed, what to speak of anybody else. So therefore, nobody should think that it is a permanent place. Another reason, he says, Krishna wanted to protect common people from impersonalism. How does it, fit in there? He tells that people became polluted with Mayavad philosophy. They started thinking that Yadus, the heroes of Yadus are as good as Krishna. They are all one. So the Mayavadi concept came in. So Krishna wanted to destroy that Mayavad philosophy. So that's why he destroyed the dynasty. So that's how there are few other reasons, So therefore Krishna, he annihilated his own dynasty. He was waiting here. He was waiting to destroy his own dynasty. So therefore Narad Muni is telling, just wait till the time Krishna is there on this planet. And then you can depart. Dhritarashtra bhratra Gandharya cha swabharyaya Dakshinena himavata Rishinam ashramam gataha.
O king, your uncle Dhritarashtra, his brother Vidura, and his wife Gandhari have gone to the southern side of the Himalaya mountains, where there are shelters of the great sages. So interestingly, just like in the 13th chapter, Vidura didn't tell that Krishna has already departed. Narad Muni is also not telling. Krishna has departed already. Wait, अपने आप news पता चलेगा इनको थोड़ी देर में. Why I should become the carrier of the bad news? So all the great devotees, they are very sensitive. Anudvega karam vakyam. Bad news मिलने वाला है. Many times you become excited to tell. अरे बताता हूँ थोड़ा इसको, क्या expression होगा चेहरे पे. We should be really careful. We should not become the carrier of the bad news. नारद भी नहीं बोल रहे. Wait, he is waiting the rest. अभी भी बोल नहीं रहे कि चले गए already. Already departed. Still he is telling, wait till Krishna is there. He is also not telling. So then he says, the further movements, what will happen to your uncle? So having dispelled all the lamentation, now Narad Muni is telling the actual facts. क्या हो गया युधिष्ठिर महाराज के साथ, क्या होने वाला है, sorry, धृतराष्ट्र के साथ. So your uncle Dhritarashtra, his brother Vidura, and his wife Gandhari, they have gone to Himalaya and they have taken shelter of the sages. Next verse, translation, somebody can read.
The place is called Saptasrota, divided by 7 because there the waters of the sacred canyon is divided into 7 branches. This was done for the satisfaction of the 7 great races.
So Dhritarashtra has gone to Saptasrota and they are taking shelter of the great sages. And what will happen there? Next verse, translation.
On the banks at Saptasrota, Dhritarashtra is now engaged in beginning Ashtanga Yoga by bathing 3 times daily in the morning, noon, and evening, by performing the Agni Hotra sacrifice with fire and by drinking only water. This helps one control the mind and the senses and frees one completely from thoughts of familial affection.
So he is practicing Ashtanga Yoga. He is performing Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, all that. He is doing Yagya also, and that's how he's controlling the mind. So Prabhupada describes in the purport about this Ashtanga yoga system. And then Prabhupada says modern so-called yogis, and they are, not actually practicing yoga. They accept yoga system as a cheap healing process for the diseases of the gross body. Indirectly Ramdev Baba ke bare mein bata rahe hain. But factually, the yoga system is a process of learning to forget what we have acquired throughout the struggle for existence and connect to Krishna. Okay. Next verse. Translation.
One who has controlled the sitting postures, the yogic asanas, and the breathing process can turn the senses towards absolute personality of body, and thus become immune to the contaminations of the modes of material nature, namely mundane goodness, passion, and ignorance.
So in the previous purport, Prabhupada writes, a yogi and bhogi are two opposite terms. Bhogi means one who eats and drinks. He cannot be a yogi. For a yogi is never allowed to eat and drink unrestrictedly. So yogi and bhogi.
My question
is pe?
I see related. The Jain log and the Jain sadhus, they don't eat for many days.
Yes.
They take just little water at the evening time before sunset. And they stay. And we know in our
हम लोग तो खाते ही रहते हैं. We know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. नहीं वो मेरे को याद है वो जब that was the surprise Pratap Rudra Maharaj had. He is looking at all the devotees, they are entering from नवदीप से आ रहे हैं जगन्नाथपुरी और आने के साथ ही प्रसाद के लिए बैठ गए. तो ये बोलते हैं तीर्थे न विधान हो शौर उपोषण. अरे तीर्थ में तो विधान कहा गया है कि तीर्थ में आए तो बाल मुंडवाइए, फास्टिंग करिए, और ये तो लोग पेट भर के खा रहे हैं यहाँ पे. काहे करे अन्नपान कुछ तो बोलते हैं वो, है ना. So Sarvam Bhattacharya says विशेषे श्री हस्ते प्रभु करे परिवेशन एतला बछाड़ी कौन करे उपोषण. So he says तीर्थेर परोक्ष आज्ञा प्रभुर परोक्ष आज्ञा शौर उपोषण ईश्वर परोक्ष आज्ञा शौर उपोषण प्रभुर साक्षात आज्ञा प्रसाद सेवन. अरे शास्त्रों में लिखा है ना परोक्ष आज्ञा है. सामने भगवान खड़े होके बोल रहे हैं खिलाओ, और विशेष श्री हस्ते प्रभु करे स्वयं परिवेशन स्वयं सेवन कर रहे हैं, सर्विंग कर रहे हैं. तो कौन लाभ छोड़ के फास्टिंग करेगा यार, खाओ. So our religion is really bewildering people. क्या लोग हैं ये, ना फास्टिंग करते हैं ना कुछ करते हैं और बोलते भगवत धाम जाने वाले हैं. और इधर
पहले सबसे पहले इम्पोर्टेंट प्रसादम क्या रहेगा?
प्रसादम ना किचन रिलीजन है ना. all our everything, all management starts from प्रसाद. प्रसाद कैसे खिलाना है. So क्वेश्चन क्या था?
क्वेश्चन नहीं था कैसे जैन लोग करते हैं, मतलब थोड़ा उसका उसके ऊपर आपका वो यही मतलब उनका यही तपस्या है कि खानेगा ही नहीं.
They are jnanis. They depend on their own shakti, their own power of becoming detached. They don't depend on the Lord.
Okay. Correct.
We depend on Krishna. हमारा खुद का शक्ति पे हम ज्यादा विश्वास नहीं रखते हैं. We depend on the Lord. That's why they are doing intense endeavor. बहुत तपस्या करते हैं because they don't have anything else. They have to do everything. विरक्त होना है ना जीवन से, संसार से. They have to do all the तपस्या. अपना तो उल्टा है. वासुदेव भगवती भक्ति योग प्रयोजित जनयति यशु वैराग्यम ज्ञानम. अपने आप आएगा, खाओ. We'll eat our way back to Godhead. अपने पास सबके लिए कोड भी है. Prabhupada, he would tell, इतना खाओ कि you should walk like ducks. That was in the beginning days. बाद में नहीं बोला प्रभुपाद ने ऐसा, So that's what happens, शुरू में तो खा पेट भर गया. When we were in VTA, टेम्पल में वैष्णव ट्रेनिंग एकेडमी जब था in 2009, so Gaurang Prabhu, he would give class. So he was telling, देखो अभी आर्टिफिशियल ज्यादा कुछ फास्टिंग वास्टिंग करने का जरूरत नहीं है, अभी जितना खाना है खा लो, जितना प्रसाद मिल रहा है यू eat to the full capacity, because after 10-15 years anyways you will not be able to eat. उस टाइम पे दुखी नहीं होना कि काश पहले खा लेता, because naturally body will not allow you to eat and you will have to become detached. So when there is an age of eating, eat. Artificial renunciation doesn't last. Falgu vairagya. So that is how. So they depend on their own power. So उनको बहुत मेहनत करना पड़ता है. We depend on Krishna ना. अपना पोजीशन क्या है, हमको बस लटके रहना है. Cat carrying the kitten and the monkey, उनका monkey वाला है. तो उनको खुद के स्ट्रेंथ से पकड़ के रखना ही पड़ता है. They cannot avoid, they cannot afford to do any sense gratification. अपना एटलीस्ट एक तो बचा है सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन. प्रसादे सर्व दुखा नाम हान्यस्य उपजायते. Okay. So then he's saying, one who has controlled the sitting postures. We read the translation, 54th translation. Somebody can read. Actually, we read. Yes. So in this, now Prabhupada is describing all the various activities of Ashtanga Yoga. And then he says, even the highest mode, the material mode of goodness, is also a cause of material bondage. What does mode of goodness bind one to? Bhagavad Gita. Every mode binds a person to certain things. Sukha sangena badhanati jnana sangena chanaga. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakam anamayam sukha sangena badhanati. He is bound by happiness because he is not doing anything wrong. So his life is all bliss. उससे बंध जाता है. उससे अरे सब कुछ तो ठीक चल रहा है, मैं क्यों भक्ति करूं? That binds him. So therefore it is also not so good if it is not connected to Krishna. What to speak of other qualities then? Everything binds a person. And then he says, but one who has surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord, he can transcend all the modes. Bhakti Yoga directly applies the senses to the loving service of the Lord. Okay, next verse. Vijnanatmani sanyojya kshetrajye pravilapyatam brahmanyatmanam adhare tambaram ivambare.
Drashta will have to amalgamate his pure identity with intelligence and then merge into the Supreme Being with knowledge of his qualitative oneness as an living entity with the Supreme Brahman. Being freed from the blocked sky, he will have to rise to the spiritual sky.
So now he is telling the process of Ashtanga Yoga, how Ashtanga Yogi, he purifies all the elements of the body and merges his elements in the ultimately Mahat Tattva. So now he is telling the process of how a Ashtanga Yogi gets purified of the contaminations. So Prabhupada writes, by the yogic process, when his pure identity is realized in self-realization, one has to revert to original position. He has to leave, right? So जो भी लिया है वापस देना पड़ेगा महत्त्व को, because he has to purify himself of all the coverings, all the layers of coverings of the subtle body and the gross body. He has to leave ultimately. Then only he can merge in Brahman, right? A pure soul can only go to Brahman. So therefore, that's what the process is. Okay, next verse, translation, 56th.
We will have to suspend all the actions of the senses, even from the outside, and we'll have to be impervious to interactions of the senses, which are influenced by the modes of material nature. After renouncing all material duties, we must become immovably established beyond all sources of the hindrances of the mind.
Okay, so Dhritarashtra attained by the yogic process the stage of negation of all sorts of reaction. So we'll not go into the details of this. Then after hearing this, Yudhishthir, he may try to bring him back. So Narad Muni says, do not become an obstacle. That's what he says in the next verse. Sava adyatanad rajan parata panchamehani
Adhyatana Rajan,
kalevaram
Tata
hasyati svam taccha bhasmi bhavishyati.
O king, he will quit his body most probably on the fifth day from today, and his body will turn to ashes.
So Yudhishthir, after hearing all the previous things, he may say, well, at least I'll go and get the dead body. He says, no, nothing doing. He'll be burned to ashes. He will not get the body also. So hearing this, he may say, well, I'll get Gandhari. So in the next verse, he says, she will also burn herself. Dahiyamane agnibhir dehe patyu patni sahotaje Pahistita patin sadhvi tamagnim manuvekshyati.
While outside observing her husband, who will burn in the fire of mystic power along with his thatched cottage, his chaste wife will enter the fire with rapt attention.
So that's how he's saying she will also burn herself. And then he says, at least I'll go and get Vidura back. So he says, nothing doing. He will also leave from that place. You will not find him there. Vidurastu tadascharyam nishamya kurunandana harshashokayutastasmad kanta tirtha nishevakaha.
Vidura, being affected with delight and grief, will then leave that place of sacred pilgrimage.
Why delighted and why grief stricken? Okay, and why grief stricken?
Because he's remained devout.
He has not taken Bhakti.
He didn't become a devotee. He became elevated, that's why he was delighted, but he didn't become devotee. Because every devotee thinks, mere parivar wale devotee ban jaye to kitna acha hoga, So therefore, he was happy also and grief stricken also. He was sorry that he could not make his brother turn into a pure devotee. This was not done by Vidura because Dhritarashtra's being inimical to the Pandavas. That's the power of Vaishnava Aparadha. Vaishnava Aparadha is so very deadly. Even if you get a brother like Vidura, still you will not get liberated because he offended a devotee. And the fourth canto also, Daksha's story is also the same thing. Because he offended Lord Shiva, although he asked forgiveness, but still he didn't give up his offensive mentality. What happened later? He offended Narad Muni again. So the offense at the lotus feet of a pure devotee is so very dangerous that the result continues haunting a person for lifetimes. So that is the life of Daksha. So kitna 5 manvantar he did tapasya. Can you imagine? First manvantara, he was burnt and he left his body. And then again he appeared as a son of Marisha and Prachetas. That is happening in Swayambhuva Manvantar. Swayambhuva Manvantar mein ho raha hai. He goes to tapasya, he does tapasya till 6th Manvantar. 5 Manvantar tapasya kar raha hai. And Lord appeared himself. Still the offense to a devotee is so grave, so dangerous, he was not freed of that. Again he offended Narad Muni. He could not become a devotee. So Lord glorified Daksha for whatever managerial skills he had. So in institution, personal success and institutional success both are required. Personally, am I becoming close to Krishna? Am I becoming more spiritually minded? Because somebody may be doing all the management, he may be assisting the mission wonderfully, but in the due course of assisting the mission of the Lord, if he doesn't grow himself, and offends some people around, some devotees around, then the result will be disastrous. That is the whole life of Daksha. ब्रह्मा जी made Daksha Prajapati. शिव जी का अपराध किया फिर भी उसको प्रजापति का हेड बना दिया. क्यों? Expert. That is how institution is. We have to understand this. ब्रह्मा जी को भी चलाना है ना यूनिवर्स. सो ब्रह्मा जी को भी मालूम है कि ये गड़बड़ किया है, अपराध किया है, फिर भी इसी को बनाना पड़ेगा. So in any institution, this is the same situation. Even if somebody has some personal faults, if he is expert managerially, he will be made the leader. Because institution चलाना है ना. So you should not blame the person. इसको क्यों बना दिया है? As you know, Shyamanand Prabhu says, wonderful thing. He says, management is the food which they eat, and politics is the stool which they pass. You cannot separate the two. Many times it has to be there. Somewhere it is gross, somewhere it is subtle. So to the extent we should try to stay away from it. Try to be simple as possible in our management. So that's the side story anyways. Okay, next verse. 50, 60, okay. Last verse. Ityuktva haruhat swargam Narada sah tumburuhu Yudhishthiro chastasya Hridi kritva jahashuchaha.
Having spoken thus, the great sage Narada, along with his Veena, ascended into outer space. Yudhishthira kept his instruction in his heart and so was able to get rid of all lamentation.
So the only way one can tolerate the lamentation is to remember the instructions. That's what will come in the 15th chapter also. That's how Arjuna could handle the biggest pain of Krishna departing. What does he say? Anybody knows? How I am, just handling all this pain? I am remembering the instructions which Lord gave me on the battlefield. Govinda abhitani me deshakalarth yuktani rittapo pashamani cha haranti prasabham chittam Govinda abhitani me. So therefore Narad Muni also pacified himself. So that's the end of the 13th chapter. Now 14th chapter is disappearance of Lord Krishna. So although the topic is disappearance of the Lord, but the subject is not the disappearance of the Lord. In this chapter, Krishna doesn't disappear. There is no mention of Krishna disappearing. Then why this chapter is entitled so? Because Krishna's disappearance is not described. The effect of Krishna's disappearance is described in this chapter. That's why, this chapter is entitled as disappearance. What were the feelings of Arjuna? What were the feelings of Yudhishthir, Mother Earth? Everything is described there in this chapter. So Suta Goswami continues. Suta uvacha samprasthite dvarakayam Jishno bandhu dudrikshaya Gyatum cha punya shlokasya Krishnasya cha vicheshtitam.
Sri Suta Goswami said, Arjuna went to Dwarka to see Lord Sri Krishna and other friends, and also to learn from the Lord of his next activities.
So now after some time, Arjuna went to Dwarka. So all these Pandavas, they could not live without Krishna. At the least expected opportunity, they will go to Krishna. किसी ना किसी प्रकार से चलो कृष्ण को मिलके आते हैं. कुछ भी नहीं है, चलो क्या कर रहे हैं अभी, क्या करने वाले हैं, आगे क्या करने वाले, चलो मिल के आते हैं. So that's how devotees, that's how Pandavas are. They cannot live without Krishna. Satsangan mukta dusango hatum notsahate buddha kirtimanam yasho yasya sakrita karne rochanam. Tasmin yastadhiya partha saheran virham katham. Darshan sparsha sanlapa sayanashana bhojanai. कैसे सहन करेंगे? They have spent their life with Krishna. So therefore, चलो घूम के आते हैं द्वारका, जाके आते हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं, पूछ के आएंगे. उसके लिए इतना दूर द्वारका, दिल्ली से द्वारका, जस्ट पूछने के लिए क्या कर रहे हैं आप? Okay, so next verse. Vyatita katichin masa tada naya tatorjunaha tadarsh ghor rupani nimittani kurudvaha.
A few months passed and Arjuna did not return. Maharaj Yudhishthira then began to observe some inauspicious omens which were fearful in themselves.
So Yudhishthira Maharaj's kingdom, nothing inauspicious was happening. Api pala dharmaraja pitrivat ranjayan praja nispriya sarva kamebhyo Krishna padanu sevaya. 12th chapter describes the kingdom of Yudhishthira. Kuch garbad ho hi nahi raha hai. Cows were giving milk without being milked. All the seasons were coming on time. There were sufficient rains. In midst of all this, today's situation, inauspicious, and all these symptoms, they are so common. जैसे हम पढ़ेंगे, बोले इसमें क्या बड़ी बात है, तो आते ही रहते हैं. But for Yudhishthira, it was inauspicious because ऐसा हो ही नहीं रहा है. It should not happen when Krishna is there. So therefore, Yudhishthira Maharaj was really fearful. Because till the time I am there, how can anything wrong happen? That was when Parikshit Maharaj started traveling, he was also thinking, ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? How can a bull and a cow be hurt when I am there? So Prabhupada writes, in the material world, the sun is considered to be the source of productivity, and only due to sun can we have necessity of life. Therefore, during the presence of the Lord on earth, all paraphernalia for our peace, prosperity, especially religion and knowledge, were in full display. Why Lord left his body? As some people say, Lord left his body. उनका शरीर अलग है. शरीर और भगवान अलग है. Some people, some atheistic, people, they were, because when Krishna was there, the dharma had increased so much कि सत्युग आ गया. So Kaliyuga came and said, अरे मेरा राज्य करने का समय आया है. And there is no symptoms of Kaliyuga. So Krishna said, no, don't worry. I'll make arrangements for you. So Krishna, he left his body, and seeing that, some people started telling, look, Krishna is different from his body. And the result was the entire Satya Yoga situation came back to Kali Yuga. That is a grave situation of offending the Lord's form. Avajananti mama mudha manushim tanumashratam. So therefore, when Lord is there, nothing wrong can happen. So Yudhishthira Maharaj started observing discrepancies, and therefore he became very, very anxious. Kalasya cha gatim raudram viparyastaratu dharminaha papi yasim nrinam vartam krodha lobha nritatmanam.
He saw that the direction of eternal time had changed, and this was very fearful. There were disruptions in their seasonal regularities. The people in general had become very greedy, angry, and deceitful, and he saw that they were adopting false means of living.
सब कुछ तो मतलब कॉमन है आज का ही. मुंबई में तो कभी भी बारिश, कभी भी ठंडी तो होती नहीं है. Anyways, there are only 2 seasons in Mumbai, rainy and non-rainy. But in the West, it is the situation, कभी भी बारिश होती है. Throughout the year, anytime it can rain. Sun will not be seen. People have become greedy, angry. That is going on. So Prabhupada writes, somebody can read that purport.
When civilization is disconnected from the loving relation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, symptoms like changes of seasonal regulations, foul means of livelihood, greed, anger, and fraudulence become rampant. The change of seasonal regulations refers to the atmosphere of one season becoming manifest in another season. For example, the rainy season being transferred to autumn, or the fruits and flowers of one season fructifying in another season. A godless man is invariably greedy, angry, and fraudulent. Such a man can only graduate by any means, black or white. During the reign of Maharaja Yudhishthir, all the above symptoms were conspicuous by their actions.
Okay, so that's how, okay, bro. So that's how, Yudhishthir could see all these things are happening. Seasons are changing. गर्मी में बारिश हो ही नहीं सकती है. सर्दी में, it cannot be, raining. But all these things were happening, started happening. So therefore he understood there must be some problem. A godless man is invariably greedy, angry, and fraudulent. That means during the time of Yudhishthira Maharaj, nobody was godless. Because the king is a great devotee, naturally, the citizens will be devotees. So therefore there are no such symptoms. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was astonished. Aisa kaise ho sakta hai? Last few lines, Prabhupada writes. A man becomes too greedy for wealth and power when he has no higher objective in life. And when he thinks that this earthly life of a few years is all in all. So that is the root of greed. Yavat jive sukham jive trinam kritva ghitam pibet bhasmi bhutasya dehasya kutah punaragaman bhavit. Charvak, So that is the philosophy. Jab tak jiyo, mujhe se jiyo. Because this is the only life. Kisne dekha hai? That leads to greed. And why all this? Because there is ignorance. And to remove ignorance, Lord has appeared in the form of Bhagavatam. Which verse says this? Why? Krishne Sudhamo Pagate. Aji bata hai. So कभी-कभी इधर तक आते हैं, इधर नहीं आते हैं. हाँ?
How do you recollect the verses? Actually, pertaining to that situation.
Oh, बोल के it is like हो जाता है. If there are two ways to remember verse. And as it is said, karoti karna ramyani manogyani chana prabho. The pastimes of the Lord, they are pleasing to the ears and pleasing to the mind. So the verses, if you want to memorize some verse, either we should be attracted by the meter of the verse or the meaning of the verse. Meter is attractive to the ears, and the meaning is attractive to the mind. तो दोनों में से कुछ तो एक attraction होना चाहिए. You like the meter or you like the meaning, then you will memorize the verse also.
Actually,
that is practice.
And saying that is a really.
बोलते रहिए. The more we speak, the more we remember. No other way, no other way, no other. So, Yudhishthira Maharaj is seeing all this problem. Jihma prayam vyavaritam. Shatya mishram cha sauridam. Pitri matri surid bhratri. Dampati nam cha kalkanam.
Transactions and dealings became polluted with cheating, even between friends. And in familial affairs, there was always misunderstanding between fathers, mothers, and sons, between relations and between brothers, even between husband and wife. There was always pain and quarrel.
So therefore, in this material world, nobody is satisfied. There will be always something to be dissatisfied till the time if Krishna is not there. So as Kali Yuga approached, all these things started appearing very frequently. So Prabhupada writes, conditioned soul is endowed with 4 principles of malpractice: mistakes, cheating, and imperfect senses, and to be illusion. These are signs of imperfection. And out of the 4, propensity to cheat others is the most prominent. So that is the underlying principle of this world. A living being in his pure state is not conditioned by the laws, because in his pure state he is conscious that he is servant of the Lord, and therefore he is always subservient. But in the conditioned state, living being is not satisfied, even if he actually becomes the Lord of all that he surveys, which he never becomes. So therefore, he is never satisfied. Only thing which can satisfy the living entity is bhakti, the devotional service. Dhautatma Purusha Krishna Pada Moolam Namunchati Mukta Sarva Pariklesha Pantha Sva Sharanam Yatha. Just like a weary traveler returns back home after a long journey, घर पहुंच के आ गए, relief, sigh of relief. That's why Dhautatma Purusha, a purified soul, never leaves Krishna. So he's seeing all this problem. Last line, Prabhupada writes, the world of hypocrisy can be checked only by counteraction through devotional service to the Lord and nothing else. Nimittanyatyarishtani kale tvanugate nrinam lobhadya dharma prakritim drishtva chanujam drishtvo vachanujam nripa.
It came to pass that people in general became accustomed to greed, anger, pride, etc. Maharaj Yudhishthira, observing all these moments, spoke to his younger brother.
So now he is speaking to his younger brother. What is happening? He is consulting. Kya ho raha hai? What may be the situation? What may be the cause? Yudhishthira Maharaj knows what must have happened. This entire chapter is full of speculative inquiries of Yudhishthira. All the weird questions, all the probabilities he is asking. Ye ho sakta hai kya? Wo ho sakta hai kya? He knows what must have happened. But a devotee never wants to accept it ki Krishna chale gaye. That is a devotee. How can Krishna go? So therefore he is giving all the reasons, just like if, mundane example, for example, if somebody buys a new iPhone 14 Pro, पहला दिन लेके आया है, our friend बोला थोड़ा दे, थोड़ा कुछ काम है, and then he goes and drops it and it breaks. तो उसके दूसरे फ्रेंड ने उसको जाके न्यूज दिया, अरे मालूम है वो मोबाइल तेरा आईफोन गिरा दिया उसने, वो टूटा तो नहीं होगा ना, ज्यादा नहीं टूटा होगा, कुछ हुआ नहीं रहेगा ना. That is how response is. कुछ होगा ही नहीं, मतलब कैसे हो सकता है ऐसा? So that is how a devotee feels about the Lord. कृष्णा जा ही नहीं सकते और कुछ हुआ रहेगा, ये हुआ क्या, ये हुआ क्या. That is the whole story of this chapter. All the speculative inquiries, that is how a devotee feels. भाई भगवान कैसे कैसे जा सकते हैं. So he is talking to Bhima. Now translation, 6th verse.
As Yudhishthira said to his younger brother Bhimasena, I sent Arjuna to Dwarka to meet his friends and to learn from the personality of God Krishna of his program of work.
Next. 7th.
Since he departed, 7 months have passed, yet he has not returned. I do not know factually how things are going there.
Next.
Is he going to quit his earthly pastimes as Devarshi Narada indicated? Has that time already arrived?
So now Prabhupada writes, the Lord appears in every yuga and executes different functions, and he quotes all these 4.7, 8, 24, 21. So when the Lord's work is done, he disappears. So then Prabhupada writes in the purport, Lord appears once in every day of Brahma, that is once in 1000 yuga cycles. And then he says but in that routine spool, the functions of Lord Krishna, the Lord Vasudeva, etc., are complex problems for the layman. There is no difference between Lord's self and Lord's transcendental body. Expansions execute differential activities. When the Lord appears, all the plenary portions join him. So when Krishna descends in his self-same body, all the other features, all the other avatars, Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, all the avatars, they come along with Krishna. Vrindavanam parityajya Padam ekam na gacchati. Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. So when Krishna, he went to Vrindavan, Vasudev Krishna went there. And when Krishna went out of Vrindavan.
But when he went to Mathura.
Yes, when he went to Mathura. Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. And it is through Vasudev feature, Krishna kills all the demons. Kaviraj Goswami describes this in great detail in Adi Leela. Okay, next verse. Yasmana sampado rajyam dara prana kulam prajah asansapatna vijayo lokaschayad anugrahat.
From him only, all actingly opulent, good wives, like life, progeny, control over our subjects, victory over our enemies, and future accommodations in higher planets have become possible. All this is due to his causeless mercy upon him.
So Lord, always, devotee always acknowledges that jo bhi mere jeevan mein hai na, whatever I have in my life, it is the mercy of the Lord. Who else has said this earlier in first canto? Dwarkavasis say, and who else? All the opulence, whatever we have. Kunti Maharani says, Kevayam nam rupabhyam yadvidisa pandava bhavato darshanam hari rishika nam rishiveshitu. Jo bhi hai neyam shobhishyate tatra yathe danim gadadhara tatpader ankita bhati swalakshana vilakshite. Whatever opulence we have, it is because you have stepped on this land. Otherwise, whatever we have is nothing. So therefore, he is thinking, हमारे जो भी है वही आपकी कृपा से ही हो रहा है. So whatever capabilities, whatever skills, whatever strength we have, everything is given by Lord only. In the third canto, Lord, when he appears in front of Brahmaji, and he tells Brahmaji to do tapa, Brahmaji hears the word tapa, फिर tapasya करते हैं. Then Lord appears. The Lord tells, you know what? Who spoke this tapa? I was that person. It said, you have chanted the glories of my activities and you have performed bhakti, you have performed this tapasya because I gave you that intelligence, I gave you the power to do tapasya, and I gave you the faith to believe this word tapa. Sab kuch maine hi diya hai. Nothing is yours. Your power is given by me, your faith is given by me. So what is yours? Nothing is yours. Your ability to pray, that is also coming from me only. So that is how whatever we have, it is all given by Krishna. Dhruva as a small child, he was not able to pray. So what Krishna did? He touched the conch shell and then he started speaking. Yonta pravishya mamavacham, all the beautiful verses.
In this translation, victory over enemies in future accommodation in higher planets. So why they have not said Golok Vrindavan here?
A devotee is always humble,
Okay.
हम कहाँ devotee, हम कहाँ भगवत धाम जाने वाले हैं. जहाँ पे भी आगे मिले, it is all his grace only. So that's what we can understand this. So Prabhupada writes, material prosperity, good wife, home, land, etc. is the material facility consists of all this. These facilities are earned not only by one's hard labor, but by the mercy of the Lord. Personal labor must be there in addition to Lord's benediction. That is Damodar Leela. Ninth verse. And Maharaj Yudhishthira admits this truth in his personal success. So whatever we have, it is by the mercy of the Lord. Nothing is ours. And that's how Arjuna will also tell in the 15th chapter. He remembers all the big things he has done. I defeated Nivata Kavachas. I could astonish Lord Shiva. I could win the hands of Draupadi. Everything is by the mercy of Lord only. That is how devotees. And there Prabhupada writes, one should not be proud of the borrowed plumes. Sab udhar pe liya hai humne. Should not be proud. Tadvai dhanushta ishavaratho hayaste soham rathi nipatayas tadanamanti. Sarvam shanena tadabhu dasadisha riktam bhasmam hutam kuhakarat dhamivoptamushyam. Arjuna is saying, this is the same Gandiva, same chariot driver, same bow, same warrior. Still, I could not do anything to protect the wives of Krishna. Because everything has become null and void. Krishna has disappeared. It is like pouring ghee on the ashes. It is like a crow taking away the sacrificial remnants. It is like sowing the seed in the barren land. Krishna chale gaye to sab shunyaitam jagat sarvam. So that is the conclusion of a devotee. Pashyopatan naravyaghra divyan bhauman sadaihikan darunan shamsato durat bhuyam no buddhi mohanam bhayam no.
Just see, oh man, the tiger's strength. How many miseries due to celestial earthly reaction and bodily pains, all very dangerous in themselves, are foreboding danger in the near future by deluding our intelligence.
So the last line of the purport Prabhupada writes, previous 10th. Conclusion is that God's sanction is the ultimate cause for all happenings, good or bad. Any successful man should be grateful to the Lord for all he has achieved. So that is how a devotee should be. He should be grateful. Krishna likes to give all credit to his devotees, and devotee should give all credit to Krishna. Krishna is Sarva Saundarya Sangraham. He likes to give credit to his devotees. That is the best part of his beauty. So we should always be eager to give all credit to Krishna. Jo bhi hai Bhagwan ki kripa se. So now he's thinking, what is happening? I cannot understand. And then Prabhupada writes, material advancement means advancement of the reaction of the threefold miseries. That's all. So we have to understand, Prabhupada writes, our constant touch with the Lord by devotional service can give us relief. So devotee is not disturbed by the troubles. Which verse says this? Troubles don't disturb a devotee, or devotee doesn't experience the miseries of this world. Tapa, Trayon, Mulanam. Yeah. How does it start? Dharma projita kaitavatra Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastamatra vastu shivadam tapa trayon bulanam. So devotee is not troubled by the miseries, and he is grateful for whatever has come in his life. Which verse says this? Devotee should be grateful for whatever has come. Tattenu kampa. I'll keep on reminding you to yaad ho jayega kuch to, That's how things, go in the brain. Baar baar. Even if you have heard, 10 baar sunte hain to yaad hota hai. Okay, next verse. Translation. Now he is, seeing all the inauspicious omens in the body, in the surroundings, and so many things. So from 11 verse onwards, he is telling all the inauspicious omens. So it is an art, Earlier, people had the art to understand, ye ashubh hai. This is shubh. He's saying my left leg is twitching. For males, it is left side, inauspicious. For females, it is right side, is inauspicious when it is twitching. So continue reading from 11th verse onwards. Till 20.
Only translation.
Only translation.
The left side of my body, my thighs, arms and eyes are all quivering again and again. I am having heart palpitations due to fear. All this indicates undesirable happenings.
Okay, I'll just read a few of the lines of the purport. These undesirables are compared to fire in the forest. No one goes to forest to set fire, but fire automatically takes place. Such fire cannot be extinguished by human efforts. So if some inauspicious omens are coming, by stopping the omens, the inauspiciousness will not go. It is just an indication that it is coming. So it is just like a forest fire, cannot be extinguished. Undesirable happenings in life cannot be checked by any number of plans. They can be removed only by the mercy of the Lord. Samsara dava nallida loka. Only by the mercy of the Guru and the representative. Prabhupada is paraphrasing that. Such miseries can be removed only by the mercy of the Lord who sends his bona fide representative. Okay, next verse, translation.
Just see, O Bhima, how the
She-jackal.
she-jackal cries at the rising sun and vomits fire, and how the dog barks at me fearlessly.
Next.
O Bhimasena, tiger amongst men, now useful animals like cows are passing me on my left side, and lower animals like the asses are circumambulating me. My horses appear to weep upon seeing me.
Next.
Just see, the pigeon is like messenger of death. The shrieks of the owls and the rival crows make my heart tremble. It appears that they want to make a void of the whole universe.
So 12, 13, 14, omens in various animals. So now omens in various panchabhutas. Yeah.
Just see how they move in circles in the sky. It appears that the earth and the mountains are throbbing. Just hear the cloudless thunder and see bolts from the blue.
No cloud, but still there is thunder sound coming. Yeah, next.
The wind blows violently, blasting dust everywhere and creating darkness. Clouds are raining everywhere with bloody disaster.
The rays of the sun are declining, and stars appear to be fighting amongst themselves. Confused living entities appear to be ablaze and weeping.
Next.
Rivers, tributaries, ponds, reservoirs, and the mine are all perturbed. Butter no longer ignites fire. What is this extraordinary time? What is going to happen?
Next.
The calves do not suck the teats of the cows, nor do the cows give milk. They are standing crying tears in their eyes, and the bulls take no pleasure in the capturing dogs.
Next.
The deities seem to be crying in the temple, lamenting and perspiring. They seem about to leave. All the cities, villages, towns, gardens, mines, and hermitages are now devoid of beauty and bereft of all happiness. I do not know what sort of calamities are now awaiting us.
So now after hearing, understanding, talking all this, he comes to the final. He says, Manya etair mahotpatai munam bhagavatah padai ananya purusha shribhe hina bhurhata saubhaga.
I think that all these earthly disturbances indicate some greater loss to the good fortune of the world. The world was fortunate to have been marked with the footprints of the lotus feet of the Lord. These signs indicate that this will no longer be.
Still is not directly telling Krishna chale gaye. 21. Still he is telling कि भाई Krishna चले गए. He is saying it negates a greater loss. कुछ तो बहुत बड़ा हानि हो गया है. महा उत्पात. It seems that, we will not be able to see the feet of the Lord. Directly he is not able to speak also. कि भाई चले गए because of his affection. So Lord's feet, they are the ornaments. The footprints, they are the ornaments of the earth. Therefore he is saying, you will not be able to see the footprints of the Lord. World was fortunate. That's why all the gopis, they are saying, Vrindavanam sakhi bhuvo vitanoti kirtim yad devaki sutapadam bhujalabda lakshmi. Vrindavan has increased the glory of Mother Earth. How? Because Vrindavan is marked with the footprints of the Lord. So therefore, Lord's feet footprints are the ornaments. So he's saying maybe we'll not be able to see the footprints anymore. Iti chintayatastasya drishta rishtena chetasa ragya pratyagamat brahman yadupurya kapidhvajaha.
O Brahmana Shamnika, while Maharaj Yudhishthira observing the inauspicious signs on the earth at that time was thus thinking to himself, Arjuna came back from the city of the Yadu.
So Arjuna now returns after 7 months. 7 months he was out. And Yudhishthira was thinking, what is happening to Arjuna? Why he has not come? So he bows down and Yudhishthira, he sees that his dejection, ayatha purvam aturam, his dejection was unprecedented. His head was down and his tears gliding from his eyes. In midst of all this, intense pain, Arjuna offers his obeisances. He doesn't, forget the respect etiquettes. Itna dukhi hai, abhi kya dandvat kare, main itna dukhi hu. No. He offers his obeisances. He bows down at the feet of Yudhishthira. And then translation 24th. So we should never ever forego the etiquettes of bhakti, whatever situation we may be, in all the extremes of the situations. When we are too happy, when we are too sad, we should not forget to follow the etiquettes. These are the primary code of conduct. Otherwise, familiarity will breed contempt. Will make offenses. That is called as ati parichayat avagya. Okay, next verse, translation 24th.
Seeing Arjuna paid due to heartfelt anxieties, the king, remembering the indications of the sage Narada, questioned him in the midst of friends.
Now he is asking so many questions. सबके बारे में पूछ रहे हैं, कृष्णा के बारे में डायरेक्टली नहीं पूछेंगे. युधिष्ठिर उवाच कच्चिदानर्थपूर्यां नः स्वजना सुखमासते मधुभोजदशार्हाः तत्त्वान्धकवृष्णयः सात्वन्.
Maharaj Yudhishthira said, my dear brother, please tell me whether our friends and relatives such as Madhu, Bhoja, Dal,
Dasharha,
Arha, Tatvata, Andhaka, and the members of the Yadu family are all passing their days in happiness.
So he is now asking about the relatives. सबके बारे में पूछ रहे हैं, Madhu, Bhoj, Dashara, Ara, Satvata, Andhaka, everybody is asking apart from Krishna. Next verse, translation.
Is my respectable grandfather Surasena is in a happy mood, and are my maternal family's younger brothers all doing well?
Next.
His 7 wives, headed by Devaki, are all sisters. Are they and their sons and daughters-in-law all happy?
Next.
Ugrasena's sons, Kansa and his younger brother, Devaka, are still living. Is Ugrasena happy? Are Ridhika and sons, Kutavarma, Akrura, Jayanta, Kada, Karana, and Satrujit, all happy? How is Balram, the personality of Godhead and the protector of devotees?
So Prabhupada describes about some personalities in this. Among the various names of the relatives, the name of Balaram is added with the words personality of Godhead. So Balaram is Prakasha Vigraha, he is Vishnu Tattva. He is not a Jiva Tattva. So Prabhupada writes. In the Hare Krishna mantra, what is Ram? What is the meaning of Lord Ram? Is Hare Ram. Ram का मतलब क्या है? हाँ, $1 million. अरे $1 million मतलब सीसी नहीं पढ़े हैं.
Ram मतलब Balram.
हाँ, Ram is Balram or Lord Ram.
Balram Krishna.
Balaram,
Krishna's name, Krishna is called Ramante. He is
Raman, Radha Raman.
Radha Raman.
Raman.
Okay, ठीक है. You know, this is very nicely clarified in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, in the chapter where this Sankarshana Karana Toshai, Nityanand Prabhu ke bare mein aata hai description. There Prabhupada writes, one time two of our sannyasi disciples, they came with a debate. Both were arguing about what is this Ram, in the Hare Krishna mantra. One was saying Lord Ram, other was saying Balaram. Prabhupada writes, anybody who has such type of confusion, that means they have not understood the Vishnu Tattva. Whether you call it Balaram or whether you call it Ram, it is all same. Prabhupada doesn't give any specific answer. Ye Ram hai ki Balaram hai. Dono kuch bhi bolo same hi. Whether you call Hare Ram as Lord Ram or Balaram, all Vishnu Tattva, category only. They are all same. No confusion should be there in that. So anyways, some side thing, some information. So whether you call it Ram or Balaram, they are all Vishnu Tattvas. Prabhupada writes, one who considers Jiva Shakti and Vishnu Tattva same, they are condemned. Sri Balaram is the protector of the devotees. He acts as spiritual master, and by his mercy, the souls are delivered. Balaram appears as Nityanand Prabhu. And he showed mercy to Jagai Madhai also. By his grace only one can approach the Supreme Lord. Okay, next verse, translation.
How is Pradyumna, the great general of the Vrishni family? Is he happy? And is Aniruddha the plenary for expansion of the personality of Godhead faring well?
Next.
Are all the chieftain sons of Lord Krishna, such as Tushena, Charudeshna, Samba, son of Jambavati, Vrishabha, and all others, along with their sons, are all doing well?
So this Samba, he was a combined incarnation of Kartikeya and the eternal. He is the avatar of, I think, one of the Vishnu incarnations. I forgot that. So Prabhupada writes in the 11th Canto purport, this is mentioned in detail. Samba was one of the Devatas also appeared, right? In all the associates of the Lord, one of the eternal associates and Devata portion. So Sam had the Kartikeya. Okay, next verse. Translation 32-33.
Also, Rutadeva, Uddhava, and others, Nanda, Sunanda, and other leaders of liberated souls, who are constant companions of the Lord, are protected by Lord Balaram and Krishna. Are they doing well in their respective functions? Do they, who are all eternally bound in friendship with us, remember our welfare?
So he's asking about everyone. And Prabhupada continues the same description of the Tatastha Shakti and the Jiva Tattvas and the Vishnu Tattvas. The Lord remembers all the conditioned souls and all the liberated souls. Prabhupada writes, the Lord remembers them all. But his associates, although liberated souls, forget due to their being Tatastha Shakti. So Lord never forgets us, we forget the Lord. We forget all our relationship with the Lord. The Lord never forgets. That's what Krishna tells to Arjuna, where he asks this, where he tells this. I remember everything. You don't remember. Bahuni me vetitani. Question kya tha? What was the question of Arjuna?
It was regarding this, how he gave the knowledge to Vivaswan.
You and me are of same age. तुम बोल रहे हैं तुम पहले विवस्वान को दिए, ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है ना? अपरम भवतो जन्म परम जन्म विवस्वतः कथम एतद् विजानीयाम तमादो प्रोक्तवानिति. पहले कैसे बोल दिया, हम तो same age के हैं. So there he says, both you and me have taken birth many times. Tanyaham veda sarvani na tvam vetta. I remember all, you don't remember. That is the difference between Krishna, Jiva Tattva and Vishnu Tattva. Krishna remembers everything. Why Prabhupada is writing? Because Yudhishthira Maharaj asks, does he remember our welfare? So Prabhupada writes, Krishna remembers everyone. We only forget Krishna. Krishna does not forget anyone. Prabhupada always, he gives purport depending on the verse. So we should not think, hey, kidhar se ye kyun bol rahe hain? Remember our welfare. That's what he is elaborating on. And then Prabhupada writes that liberated souls are sparks of fire that are able to exhibit the glow as long as they are with fire. As soon as they go away from fire, they get destroyed. Okay, now 34th is a very important verse. Bhagavan api govindo brahmanyo bhaktavatsalah kachit puresu dharmayam सुखमास्ते सुहृद्वृतः. अभी कोई नहीं बचा तो एंड में अभी कृष्ण के बारे में पूछ रहे हैं. हाँ.
Is Lord Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who gives pleasure to the cows, the senses, and the brahmanas, who is very affectionate towards the devotees, and joined the pious assembly at Dwarakapuri, surrounded by his friends?
Bhagavan api Govinda is Lord Krishna, who gives pleasure to the cows and the senses. Govinda, he is Brahmanya, he is eager to give pleasure to the brahmanas. He is Bhaktavatsala. Is he happily residing in the Sudharma assembly? So Prabhupada describes how Lord is Bhagavan, he is Brahmanya, he is Govinda. Prabhupada elaborates on each and every word. Govinda means one who gives pleasure to the cows and the senses. Only the impure conditioned living being cannot derive any pleasure from the senses. But being illusioned by the false pleasure, he becomes servant of the senses. Darshananno didrikshunam dehi bhagavatarchitam rupam priyatamam swanam sarve indriya gunanjanam. Oh my Lord, please give me your darshan, because your darshan can only satisfy all my senses. Sarva indriya gunanjanam. Only Krishna can satisfy all the senses, nothing else. Then Prabhupada describes he is Brahmanya. And then he says, by Brahminical culture, all the good qualities appear. One can become a Brahmana and therefore he can see the Lord. And then Prabhupada writes, a devotee is higher than Brahmana. Which all verses come to the mind or any quotations? Brahmana, devotee is higher than Brahman.
Vaishnava is more higher than Brahmana.
2-3 verses Prabhupada has quoted many times. Ek to wo aho bat shopacho ato gariyan, he has quoted many times. A person who is born in a family of dog eaters, if he is chanting, he is higher than a Brahmana. Shatkarma nipuno vipro mantra tantra visharada Vaishnava guru urna syat Vaishnava swapacho guru. Swapacha hai. Swapacha matlab?
Dog eater.
Dog eater, one who cooks the dog. Pacha means to cook.
Can you stop?
Kitna time ho gaya?
10 minutes.
Okay, I have no problem.
Heavy ho gaya.
Heavy ho gaya?
नहीं उनका अभी एक और
Lecture.
है अभी Sunday it goes like this, no?
This is my 4th lecture today. इसके आगे एक और क्लास है मेरा. Okay. Okay. We'll stop. Okay, so Prabhupada describes this, all the words, Bhaktavatsala, Brahmanyo, he is a Govinda. So like that. This is just by taking, Prabhupada writes, just by taking birth, ye khatam kar dete hain purport, just by taking birth in Brahmana family, one doesn't become a Brahmana. One becomes a Brahmana by serving Krishna. Similarly, by putting tilak and kanthi mala, one does not become a devotee. One becomes devotee when he serves Krishna and develops good qualities. What are the good qualities of a devotee? Titikshava, Karunika, Sarvadehina. Ajat Shatrava Shanta Sadhu Bhushan. These are the ornaments of a Vaishnava. So therefore, Lord is all perfect, Prabhupada writes. What is the need to ask about the welfare of the Lord? Anything wrong can happen to the Lord. Phir bhi, when Krishna was departing, we heard, right? When Krishna was departing from Hastinapur, वो मतलब छोड़ के वापस ही नहीं जा रहे हैं. He sends Chaturangini Sena and he goes all the way up to the borders of Hastinapur. Then Krishna has to convince them, "Arey jao yaar, main chale jaunga." That is all love. So that's how he is in the end asking, is he happy? So Prabhupada writes, Lord is inclined to a Brahmana of quality and not of false prestige. Those who are less than a Brahmana by qualification cannot establish any relationship with the Lord. Just as fire cannot be kindled from the raw earth. Since the Lord is all perfect, there could not be any question of his welfare, but Yudhishthir is refraining from asking this question. He's simply asking about the place. द्वारका ठीक है ना? कच्चित पुरे सुधर्मायाम, सुधर्मा में ठीक चल रहा है ना सब? उनके बारे में directly is not asking. Lord stays only where pious men assemble and take pleasure in glorifying the Lord. Which verse? Naham tishtharmi vaikunthe yoginam hridayeshu va yatra gayanti mad bhakta tatra tisthami narada. So Krishna is pleased when he hears his glories. That's the whole pastime of Lord Jagannath. सुन के क्या चल रहा है, हम भी जाके सुन लेते हैं थोड़ा. That's how Lord Ram is. That's how Lord Jagannath is. When Lavakush he comes to speak Ramayana, Lord Ram is sitting on the top and Lavakush starts reciting. तो सब लोग ecstasy में हैं and Lord Ram is thinking मैं ऊपर बैठा हूँ. So he comes down and he is sitting with the citizens, and all the citizens, they are smiling, laughing, and some people are slapping the thighs of Lord Ram, and nobody knows they bagal mein baithe. So that is how Lord Ram takes more pleasure in hearing the glories with his devotees. मेरे बारे में devotees के साथ बैठ के सुनना है मेरे को. So that's how Lord is. Machchitta madgata prana bodhayantah parasparam. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai.